discussed on DSG with Greg's question and with Hong's support. And I think their topic is about breath. Go ahead, Greg, please. We can't hear you, Greg.
Hi, sorry. I'm not quite sure where that question was, but I think it was kind of a follow-up on a discussion on the forum that related to meditation and to whether or not the Buddha had indicated that people should engage in formal practice. And I was very interested in part of the discussion. I think it was in the morning session on the first that was talking about the two paths, samatha and vipassana. It seemed related, one with understanding, one without, one with clinging, one without. So perhaps that would be an okay place to begin or start from.
So maybe you can just choose one word to ask about first.
So as it was discussed in the morning session on the first, I believe, the word vipassana.
So vipassana refers to the clear understanding of reality. We've discussed a lot about the pariyatti understanding, the wise considering about reality, such as seeing now. But the wise considering is not the direct understanding of the reality, of the nimitta of the reality. The direct understanding is the patipatti, or we can say satipatthana, the development of the path of directly understanding realities. But even that direct understanding is not the very clear understanding of realities, beginning with the clear understanding of the distinction between namas and rupas, which you're familiar with the terms, I know. So that's why we talk a lot about seeing now, hearing now, because without this understanding developing, there is no possible way that there can be the direct realization, the direct, clear understanding of realities and vipassana jnanas. Often people like to follow some practice and imagine there are various realizations and attainments, but without the discussion and the consideration of realities now in daily life, that understanding can never develop. Perhaps you would like to add more.
May I ask to
just one moment, Hong, a chance to speak.
Okay.
And why do we talk about breath? Why don't we talk about other things? Why do we talk about breath?
Breath is a reality.
We do not hear you, Greg.
What about seeing? Is it a reality as well?
Yes.
And why don't we talk about seeing? Just talk about breath?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a question similar with Ajahn because Greg.
It has to be understood from the very beginning.
I'm sorry, I didn't, I think, hear the last part of what you said. I apologize.
Simple
The video
question.
stopped.
Why do we talk about breath again, please?
Breath is a reality.
Seeing is a reality as well. Why don't we talk about seeing?
Instead of breath.
I think, Greg, you suggested that the Buddha talks about mindfulness of breathing, right?
Video on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it seems to me, based on my past understanding, that when you read the suttas, you're given an instruction to follow the breath as a practice. And so I think my question in the past, previously had begun there, that there was a difference, that I'm perceiving, one related to what I'm experiencing now as a reality that I'm not creating, it isn't created by anyone, and that's related to or appears because of conditions and accumulations. And then the other one is sort of this capacity, this assumed capacity to make things take place, to create realities, develop concentration, for instance.
Does breath appearing now?
Yes.
So what is the moment when it appears to be known as breath?
When you brought my attention to it.
If we don't call it breath, what is experienced?
Just a softness, maybe.
So it's just like any moment of experiencing hardness or softness, exactly the same.
The pati is the softness.
It's experienced through the body sense, that's all. That's all. It's letting go, doubt or curiosity, right? To understand the nature of that which is experienced through body sense, no matter where and when. Otherwise, there can not be the moment of letting go, attachment to it, curiosity, just wanting to understand it. But in truth, it's only a reality which is experienced only through body sense. Like now, anything which is experienced through the body sense. This is the only way to have less and less clinging and attachment, no matter what is there. When there's no understanding of what is the nature of it, and when it appears, nobody call it breath, no need to say it about anything because it's there, soft or hard, heat or cold. Can this understanding, letting go, attachment to breath?
Yes.
Subtly, very subtle. Some understanding, a little more understanding about the truth of what is there, which appears through one of the 6 doorways.
And Huang, you wished to ask about breath, and you wished for Greg to ask about breath. Please tell us about your interest in breath, Huang.
Yes, because I have practiced in breath also, because I had stomach ache problem. So I had to take the stomach ache with the balloon. balloon test. The doctor recommend me to take the balloon to investigate the stomach. Then the nurse give me the balloon. The balloon looked like the saline at the blood stop saline. Not look like the balloon, the party. So the nurse told me breathe in deeply to blow the balloon. Then I try many times to breathe in to blow the balloon, but I couldn't do. I nearly give up the text until the last one. I just think about, okay, just blow. No need to breathe in or out. I just do it. And surprising, the balloon pop up. So the other time I have two different CT scan. One is the stomach, one is the abdomen text, and the other one for CT scan kidney and check two things that I couldn't do, breathe in and out with the injection of the nurse. So,
Huang,
yeah.
does it have anything to do with the reality now, though? What appears now?
Yeah.
Is the breath appearing now?
Okay.
What is the point?
Thinking about of the breath in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking about long stories about breath.
Yeah. Yeah. Thinking about the breath already done. So never to return.
So it's actually all a long story about breath in the abdomen, breath blowing the balloon. It's not any understanding of the reality of seeing now, hearing now, or even the breath, the softness now conditioned by chitta. It's just thinking about stories of the breath. So how can it help the development of understanding now? That's why Ajahn said, what about seeing now? Why breath? Why be interested in the story of breath when it has nothing to do with the reality at this moment?
That's why I asked Red, because he did the breath practice, and that's why I want to share about breath reality, like the Ajahn told about breath experienced by the body sense. That I understand the breath reality.
Thank you for sharing that.
So because it seems very want to connect it between the practice and breath with the vipassana. That's why he asked what the vipassana like. That's why he want to understand more further. But as my understand, breath is very subtle, rupa, very subtle. Only condition by chitta. The character.
Why is one interested in? Why are you interested in breath or understanding breath now?
You ask Rick or me. because I just told, okay.
So why talk about why are we interested in the story of breath? Because it's just like any other reality, no significance at all. No, why interested in breath and not seeing or hearing or what is seen or what is heard now?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think Huang was interested because coming in because Greg, somehow the subject got raised, so she wanted to share her experience.
Yeah. That's the point.
And understanding.
Thank you.
we talk about the story of breath and about the balloons and the abdomen. It has nothing to do with the reality of breath. It's like we can be talking about any story, nothing to do with the subtle reality, because it's just an idea about breath. So everyone has their experiences or their stories, but without understanding hardness now, softness now, seeing, hearing, there cannot be any understanding of what is the reality of breath, because it's just like any other softness of now, but of no significance. It just happens to be the one conditioned by the citta, but it's gone. So as Ajahn said, the more understanding of what appears, the less curiosity, the less clinging to experiencing a particular reality.
And just one small point I want to add, yeah, like what Sarah said, all Dhamma are anatta, so we cannot choose to understand whether we want to choose, can we choose to understand hardness now or breath now? No, right? Everything is all anatta. So it's not matter of choose or selection. So when people ask, they want to understand about breath. Let them understand Dhamma, so they will understand that they are all just anatta. No selection.
I think the point that I feel would be useful for many people to hear discussed is is what Greg mentioned at the outset, perhaps not today, but I picked it up for him, that people have the impression that the Buddha taught specifically the mindfulness of breathing, the development of mindfulness of breathing, and possibly the development of insight based on that. This is a very widespread view among general Buddhists or people who are interested in Buddhism. So I'm wondering if the discussion could be more along those lines, and it might help, because we can explain about the reality of breath, but people are still have it in mind that there's something special about breath that they need to pay attention to. So perhaps we could discuss along those lines. Just a suggestion.
Because I think I talk about breath, the thinking about balance, the test is not wrong, because the topic starts in the breath, and so anything can discuss. But
what is the truth of breath?
The truth of breath very subtle. The air element, conditioned by citta.
Now, what is experienced through body sense?
Hardness, softness, any element of four primary element, any, like the breath can appear if the condition to the object to banya to understand.
So the point of listening to each word of truth is just to understand that actually what is there is only a reality which is experienced, and it's hard or soft, and there is a reality which experiences it no matter through what way, any day, any time. They are just like that which is experienced and that which experiences the Dhamma and the Rupa, to understand clearer and clearer that no matter it appears as sound or smell or hardness or breath, the truth of it, that it is that which is real, that cannot experience the object, and the other reality experiences it in life, any life, to let go the idea of someone or something, because the nature of what is there is only one, is that which cannot experience anything, no eye, no thing, no breath, only the name for it. And the other one just arises to experience the object, no matter its attachment or aversion and so on. In life, any life, learn to understand the truth of each moment of life, that there are only two different main differences of reality. One experiences the object and the other cannot experience anything. That's all. Any day, any time, any doorway to understand the truth that no one there at all. Is that true? To let go. No understanding of seeing and that which is seen, hearing and that which is heard, and so on. Is at the point of listening to the truth to understand that whatever arises falls away, but they are different by one can experience the object now or anytime, and the other appears but cannot experience the object from birth to death, no matter in what life, not under anyone's control. It's conditioned to arise and falls away. So having such firm understanding, there can be understanding of whatever appears as it is, it experiences, or it's soft, or smell, or taste, that's all. No one, no thing, no pepper, no apple, only that which can be experienced through the 6 doorways, one by one. Is that the understanding of life, of everything in life which appears, to let go the idea of something or I, or cat or dog. Is at the point of listening each word to understand the truth, the absolute truth, no matter we call it breath or paper or whatever. When it's hard, it's only hardness. Nobody can change its characteristic, and it's gone instantly, unknowingly. To realize the truth is to understand one reality at a time, at each moment, quite different from moment to moment. Sometimes it's sound, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's thinking, sometimes it's feeling. And what is the absolute reality, absolute truth of what is there? As it's there, just when it is conditioned to arise and then falls away instantly, never to return. So no I, no one, no thing. Is this the point of listening to understand the truth, the absolute truth, even what we call breath? Is it real? Is it true? And what is it? Only that. Can it last? Is that the point of listening to the truth? To be moment of realization, the truth, not just hearing, considering that is there now, but no understanding of the truth of what is there without hearing about the truth. Breath, it's just a reality experienced through the body sense, and it's gone as soon as it has risen. When it's gone, is it still breath?
I understand what you talk about, Ajahn, but the reason I just told to with the right understand what reality now better than the breath, because the breath very subtle, like the other element.
It appears
Element rupa. That's why I talk.
what appears to be known is now, right now. Is breath now appearing to be known? If not, what appears to be known? Not just to ignore, because it's not breath that one would like to know it. Is that the way to understand the absolute truth of what is there as it is? even thinking about wanting to understand it, what is there? At moment of thinking, what is it? At moment of wanting, what is it? At moment of hearing, what is it? At moment of thinking about breath, what is it? This is life. Not only breath. And when there's no understanding of the truth of what is there now, can there be the understanding of anything? When it does not appear. For now, breath does not appear. Can there be the understanding of breath? But now what appears, can it be known as it is? Otherwise, it's not the time to develop understanding of the truth at all. Is that true? Being true to the truth of what is there. Understanding a little more. It's there by conditions. No one can make it arise at all. And what is conditioned for each moment to arise? To understand that it's conditioned to arise, so it arises and it's gone instantly. Is that true? Just begin to understand what is life and what is there in life, whether there is someone or no one. Only the conditioned realities arising and falling away in split seconds, very, very quickly. The arising and falling away now is not known, but is it true? And can there be the understanding of just one reality at a time, so that there can be a little more understanding of different conditioned realities? Without considering about the truth of what is there, can there be any understanding of what is there in life? It's not just no understanding of breath, but no understanding of whatever appears right now too. Is that true? And the answer is yes or no. What is the understanding when it's true? And when it's not true, is that the understanding of the truth of it? So what is true now? Be truthful, only that. To understand further, no one makes it arise. While one is speaking, thinking, there is seeing all the time. How come? Without condition, nothing can arise at all. And without the enlightenment of the Buddha, who can understand the truth of what is there? So each word about the truth of this moment, it's out of his realization of the truth. If there's no realization of the truth, what about there is no seeing before seeing? And then there is seeing, it's gone, and there's hearing. Is that true? And this is Satya Varami. So consider the truth, to have firm confidence of the truth as the truth. Buddha said, all dhammas are anatta. So this moment, who or dhamma, anatta.
He also taught that there is just one way, and the one way is the development of understanding of realities appearing now, one at a time, which leads to the direct understanding and later the clear understanding. If we think about other ways, such as focusing on the breath at the abdomen or any other idea of following some activity, it's not the understanding of reality now, the one way. It's the wrong way. If it's not the right way, it's the wrong way. Only one way. And it has to be now, because there's only this moment. So the understanding has to be of what appears now. No selection, no focusing, no labeling, no trying to be aware of anything at all. Otherwise, it's all about self, not the understanding of Dhammas as anatta. Tiny Tam, do you want to bring up your question?
So Achan, the other day when I asked you what they seeing and also visible objects, also what is very popular objects, so why couldn't we keep talking about seeing? And Achan explained that because seeing is the chief in experience and is the importance, and all the time there's always seeing and chitta. So I wonder, is that also something that can be selected to be know about when we only talk about seeing?
And what select?
An idea that seeing is more important than visible object.
Forget about the reality which arises to experience an object any moment. To understand the difference between the moment of selecting and moment of no selecting at all. Is that right?
Sorry,
to be truthful to the truth, that is a beginning to understand what is there as it is. In order to understand what is meant by Dhamma, no one, no thing at all. Only one characteristic of a reality conditioned to arise to be. Only that. Attachment is our reality. Aversion is our reality. Can there be anyone at moment of liking something? Or because the reality which has its characteristic to be attached instantly of whatever is there experienced all the time, unknowingly, unknown object. That's why we learn to understand what life is, what is the first moment of life, and what the other moment, which is not the first moment, not the one which follows instantly, but on and on until there is seeing now. How come? Can it be known?
Yes.
Hearing, considering, be truthful to the truth.
And also, could you elaborate more about the meaning of inner moods? You always say chitta is inner moods, so it's hard to imagine and understand about that.
Understand what?
You say chitta is
Okay.
the inner moods.
Just chitta we are talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where is chitta? Yeah.
You don't know.
out there, Chitta, or where is it?
It's not known.
Now what is there?
Seeing,
Okay. And thinking and liking,
yes, thinking and
where are they? All of them. The innermost is the reality which is the chief, because even that which arises with it is not that which is the chief of experiencing, but it shares the same object, arising together, experience the same object, falling away together, arise at the same condition for its arising. The Hatya, see, that's why no understanding of anything at all. But Buddha taught out of his compassion that no one can understand the truth if he didn't teach at all. So hearing whatever from his word, it's all about what is there now, which is not known yet, to be known gradually. And understanding only can condition truthfulness of the truth. It does not lie because it understands. That's why when there's no understanding, is it someone? No understanding. It's another reality, quite different from understanding. A reality, we use the word panya or titi, samadhi, and other word, it doesn't matter, but it understands. For example, now, it understands, begins to understand that there is seeing right now, to be sure, to be truthful, there is seeing. But what is seeing is not known. Until hearing about seeing, it's different from the object which is seen. So it means that at moment of seeing, there must be other reality, which is not seeing, which is experienced by seeing. Now, right? Is it true?
yes,
Confident?
yes.
Who makes it arise? The seeing and that which is seen.
No one.
Beginning to understand the meaning of Dhamma a little firmer and Anatta a little firmer. Until there's more understanding of hearing, considering, and whatever in life, to have firm confidence of the truth, which is the first round of the Four Noble Truth. Intellect, understanding firmly. When it's not firm enough, how can they be directly understand what is there? As we have heard, it's not moment of seeing when hardness appears. Not moment of seeing, for sure. That's why understand what is meant by doorway of experiencing what is there in life. And when this object is not the object of a moment of experiencing, there must be another object, because there must be a moment of experiencing arising non-stop from moment to moment. Chitta is there, the innermost. At moment of getting angry, another reality experience the same object, because it dislikes the object which appear, but it cannot experience as a chief. But as soon as it arises and experiences the same object, its function is being attached instantly. Who makes the attachment arise? There must be conditions for whatever arises. And that can be known, but the citta which experiences the object that attachment is attached to is not known. There is only the idea, I like this, but if this is not experienced by citta, how can it condition, or how can attachment arises?
On that question related to that, to citta and attachment, in the Satipatthana Sutta and the Citta Nupassana, it talks about the first thing is citta with knowing citta with lopa, Why does it have both of them together? Why not just say chitta by itself?
Because citta is there any moment, but no thought about it at any moment. Because attachment is there. Citta arises with attachment, and attachment appears, but not as it is, as I. But
So it's bringing attention to the chitta. Is that right?
if there is no attention to citta, citta will never appear.
It's the understanding of chitta. But the chitta that arises with attachment, different from the chitta that arises with aversion, because it's been conditioned by the attachment, but it's the chitta itself which is the object when it's chittanupassana.
Or is it the innermost citta? Yeah.
And just back to Tiny Tam's first question, sometimes the Buddha just talked about different Vedana, different feelings, like Azita was mentioning it. Did he talk about Vedana so people would select that as the object of awareness? When he talked about metta, was it so anyone can select it as an object? No. When he talked about lobha, was it so that people would select lobha as the object? Mm. When he talked about chittas, was it so that vijnana khandha, was it so that anyone would select it? He cannot talk about everything at once. So in different suttas, he would talk about different realities. But I can tell that there is some doubt. He taught about how all dhammas are anatta. Understanding is anatta. Awareness is anatta. No rule at all about what is to be the object of understanding. But by considering different realities, like different rupas, different mental factors, different chittas, it's a way to consider the true nature. And why has Ajahn been talking about chittas? Because we think a lot about aversion, about attachment, about metta, but what about the chitta itself, the innermost? Or we talk about the sounds, the visible objects experienced, but what about the seeing now as Dhamma, not my seeing, I who sees? So the purpose is not for any selection with the idea of I selecting, but just for the consideration and development of understanding naturally. As soon as any selecting or trying, it's the wrong way, not the Buddha's teaching. Like if the Buddha talked about patavi dhatu, hardness, it's not so that anyone focuses on hardness at all. It's just a reminder that what is experienced now is that reality and then gone. Subtle path, subtle teachings, no one to do anything at all.
Is there any moment attending to citta? Is there all the time?
When we listen to you talking about it, maybe that's a helpful reflection that there can be possible.
To begin to understand the truth that it's there. Even it's there, each moment is not known.
And that is the wise attending, the wise reflecting. If there was no discussion or consideration about chittas, no wise attending. And it's the same with other realities, but not to select it.
It's true that without reminding, always forgetting. Because immediately after I get out of the room, hardly think about chitta.
And that is the understanding of what is meant by sutta maya panya.
And that's the point. So it needs more discussion, more consideration so that it's not just Sutamaya Panya, but Chintamaya Panya, wise consideration anytime, even when on the flight home or any time at all. If there isn't discussion and consideration of different realities, for sure, they will all be taken for I, something there.
And is Panya Chitta?
No.
See, before there can be the understanding of Chitta, it's not Panya or anything. It has to be reminded that it's the chief of experiencing. And when Panya understands, it understands that which Chitta experiences. And ignorance about that which Chitta experiences, anything, anytime, there must be Chitta which experiences that object.
But still, Ajahn, why Cetasika are not the innermost?
Sometimes some Cetasika arise and some not. But even those who arise together, can it be known? The Vitaka, Vichara, see? That can be known when it's there. For example, Chitta now can be known because it's there. That which is not the reality which is seen, the other reality is there, sees it.
So we can say 7 universal Cetasika can be the innermost.
What is the chief of experiencing the object?
Only Chitta.
So what is the innermost?
But why is the chief experiencing is the innermost?
It's ignorance or understanding and attachment. See, all the unknown, it keeps on away from understanding or attention to that which can be known. Even that which is the chief of experiences, it's not known. So can Vitaka be known? Phassa? And in truth, can it be known? Whatever is there, Chitta can experience it. It depends on other factors too. Without any understanding, it cannot be known as it is, no matter what. That's why it's a reality which understands little by little.
The inner ayatana and the Cetasikas are the outer ayatana, only one Chitta at any moment, the inner ayatana. Just like the sense spaces are inner ayatana. So the Chitta, the one Chitta, the innermost.
And without understanding the nature of Chitta as the innermost, can there be the understand the outer ayatana? Ever is not Chitta, is outer.
Roxanne, would you like to ask your question now? Can be the one you asked before if you like.
Ajahn, Chitta is always the chef to experience the object, but at the moment of, let's say, strong pain, and that the moment is the Vedana is like more obvious, right?
Is there also Chitta at that moment?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Is it known?
Of course, no.
Can it be thought about?
Again?
Can it be thought about?
Sure.
So it depends on conditions. To begin to attend to the characteristic which experiences now, not that which is experienced. No shape, no form.
one time I remember Achan said that understanding know it level. So can you a little bit explain about that?
Is there enough understanding of that which appears as no one, no thing? What is true? That is understanding how little or how much?
Not very clear for me.
Is there someone seen?
No, just seeing.
Really?
Of course, when talking about the understanding is not that level.
But can there be a moment of beginning to understand the truth? That seeing is just one moment.
Yes.
So how can that appear now? Be just one moment of that which is seen, one dot, on and on and on, until it conditions this.
So it begins to develop a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Is it true? Just only one question all the time, to have more confidence of the truth. And when it appears, no matter through what the way, appears as nimitta. Because one process of seeing, one moment of seeing cannot be experienced. It's that experience is the object, followed by atcitta. So who knows that citta before seeing and after seeing, what appears is only nimitta of seeing, a reality sees.
And another question, like at this moment, seeing, hearing, touching, like at the same moment, explanation is in 1 second, the 1,000 of chitta. It's so fast, but quickness or time is just the concept. So are there any way to explain that feeling that is everything at the same time, hearing, seeing, and touching, Ajahn?
What is there now appearing?
Seeing, hearing.
See, different moment. Is it true?
By thinking, it's true.
Can ignorance be the one word? When there's impression that the seeing, the hearing, the thinking, everything is at once?
It should be.
Sam, last chance. She's ready to go, I know.
Okay, so I briefly asked Sarah this before, but so chitta is what experiences the object, right? And so I asked, like I've heard this before, if a tree falls in a forest and okay, there is no one, or what is the object still there to be experienced by chitta?
Do you know what a tree is?
Softness, hardness.
If it's not seen, can there be the idea of a tree?
No,
So in truth,
there's nothing.
not just thinking, there is also seeing, hearing, and other moment of experiencing an object non-stop.
And then also these conditions, there's conditions to experience, for chitta to experience the object. I earlier I heard it's memory and what else? Memory and experience of that idea is what conditions the rupa. What is memory?
We think now there is thinking about red book. So we think red book conditions the thinking. We think there is a red book and that's why there's thinking about it. But if there had been no thinking, no memory of that visible object and that kind of impression and that idea about red book before, would there be the thinking about red book now? So the thinking and the memory is accumulated, but actually there was never a red book and there isn't a red book now. The red book is just the object of thinking. And why is there the thinking of the red book now?
Right.
Because that kind of thinking, that kind of memory has been accumulated from the past. Would a baby think of red book? Would a dog think of red book? So it depends whether there has been the thinking of red, the thinking of book, the memory of those signs, those details, those impressions ready to condition the thinking about the red book now. So the rupa isn't accumulated, the book isn't accumulated, but the thinking and memory is accumulated. Like now I can call you Roxanne and this hang because of the memory marking what is seen, what is heard countless times, ready to condition the thinking now about Roxanne or hang. If someone hasn't met you and never heard you are Roxanne, there will be no thinking about Roxanne. If we meet someone in the street, not much thinking about them because it's not anyone familiar. But if it's someone we know, more thinking, more memory, more ideas about what they look like, what their name is, and so on.
Okay. I have a question to that, but I can't think of
Roxanne.
Yes.
When this tree falls in the forest, if we're next to it, there may be sound, right?
Yes.
And there's experience of sound. Say there's no one there and it falls in the forest, would there still be sound that's not experienced?
I think.
Yeah, in fact, yes, there would still be sound even if no one experienced it. So sound doesn't need an experiencer. There would still be sound.
Okay, because I'm thinking of the eye experiencing it, but actually there's always something to experience it.
The sound arises and falls away, but it doesn't appear, it's not experienced. So it's of no significance. It's not the world.
And so there's many rupas in the body that are not experienced, but doesn't mean the rupas aren't there. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when we're in deep sleep, say, and there's bhavanga chitta, there's still rupas that are arising and passing away, but they're unexperienced. So sometimes Buddhists have the idea that only elements that are experienced are actually real, but that's not quite true. Yeah. Just as a sideline there.
The point is that the Buddha's path is the understanding of what does appear, because the sounds in the wood that are not experienced, or the colors out there that are not seen, no matter how much one might learn about them, might learn about the details of the sounds in the forest, it will never help the development of understanding, because the understanding is of the world which appears now. That's all.
Going back to just the beginning of anything. Is there anything now?
Is there anything now? I don't quite understand the question. Are there any realities
Is
or
there anything now?
anything now? What can be experienced only from the senses?
When we talk about a reality which experiences this moment, it experiences what? Getting close to this moment.
I'm not quite sure of the question. What can be experienced, or what is? Sorry, could you ask one more time?
Just what is there now?
What is there now?
Nothing? Or what?
Seeing, hearing, hardness, softness.
Seeing, sees what?
That which can be seen, the object. Seeing experiences what?
What is seen can be seen. But what is seen, see? Can a table be seen?
No, table is a concept.
Good. Only that which can impinge on the eye base can be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So how very tiny it is in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Only one process cannot be anything at all. But many, many processes of seeing, arising and falling away, and other citta as well, arising one after another, not appear at all. So what appear in life, it's only that which is seen, heard through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Only that. But it seems like it's a great world, big world, many events and situations, but in truth, only one moment of experiencing an object at a time. How many moments of seeing right now?
I'm not sure.
How many moments? To be just this,
Yeah.
smaller than this, uncountable. And after seeing, what is there? Ignorance, no understanding of the nature of seeing, and attachment instantly to whatever appears.
So then how about someone who is blind, for example?
No seeing.
No seeing. And does that...
No conditions for seeing to arise. So seeing cannot arise. Is there attachment to seeing now?
Yes.
And is there any attachment to the object which is seen?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can it be known? Can it appear?
Can the object be known?
In one process, after seeing, and the other moment of citta is so very fast. Can they appear like it cannot see, it does not see, only seeing, one single moment sees.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like only seeing, but in truth, not just only seeing. There must be citta before and after seeing, but only seeing appears. So no matter what world and what life, what is there? Only seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. That's all. And they are gone as soon as they arise by conditions. Dhamma or Dhammas are anatta.
When there's the story about the tree falling in the forest, what's the reality at that moment?
What's the reality?
What's the reality when there's the story about the tree falling in the forest? What can be known?
What can be known?
Just thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just thinking.
Just
now.
thinking about.
Just thinking about anything. So thinking can be known, but nothing, the tree, the forest, these are just different ideas and stories. So it's always back to understanding what is real now, the thinking. Go ahead.
Back to the chitta is the innermost. It's very beneficial for all of us to be reminded about the chitta. The reality is can experience the object clearly. So I'm wondering at the moment of satipatthana or vipassana jnana, the characteristic of the chitta, I mean, the knowing the object clearly is to be known. What is the characteristic of the chitta to be known at the moment of vipassana jnana or satipatthana?
So what is sati and what is patthana?
Sati is aware of the characteristic of the reality.
With understanding or no understanding at all?
With understanding.
So at that moment, is that chitta?
At the moment, sure, it has a chitta.
No thought about it. But it's there, but it's not sati. Yes. That's why there has to be the understanding of sati enough to understand that it's not that which is the chief of experiencing. And at that moment of understanding that which is achieved, it is chitta nupassana satipatthana, because chitta is there to be object of understanding little by little. That's why no matter what kind of chitta can be chitta nupassana satipatthana. So understanding what is meant by patthana is hardness now appearing, patthana.
Let me just think about the nimitta of the hardness. I mean,
no characteristic. Or nimitta
of
the characteristic.
Yes.
With understanding directly of that reality as it's just hard. No matter it's breath or whatever, it's just only hardness. This is the only way to get closer and closer to let go the idea of something that it's breath or it's not breath, but it's hard. So what is patthana at that moment?
Patthana is sorry, I'm not clear about
Can
this.
we use the word patthana?
Yes, the meaning of patthana is either object.
Object of sati and understanding.
Yes.
Is it means that characteristic of the reality at that moment.
Yes, must be the characteristic of the reality, because patthana is not like just ordinary object. It's like the object of sati, patthana, and
anything can be satipatthana. right?
Yes,
Any
any reality.
But is there Satipatthana now?
No.
See, anything can be Satipatthana, but is there Satipatthana now?
No.
Because it's not direct understanding of a characteristic. That's why only the absolute truth can be patthana of sati. Sati understand, is aware of it with understanding. Without understanding, there cannot be satipatthana. That's why learn to understand each reality. Sati is not citta, but it's moment of protection. The kusala cannot come close or can arise, can be there at all together. When sati is there. So only sati is not satipatthana, but at any moment of kusala or wholesome moments, sati is there. Different levels depending on how much of understanding is there. So can what is seen now be satipatthana?
Any what is seen is visible object. I mean,
Do we have to call it?
You know, what is seen to be object of satipatthana.
Without awareness, can it be satipatthana?
No.
So it has to be sati only, which is aware of the truth with understanding. That's why in Tipikataka it says that it's not vitarkapatthana, it's not pasapatthana, not the function of awareness, only sati can perform that function. So is there any doubt about satipatthana now?
Yes, no, yes. Clearer now. Thank you, Achan.
Whatever is real, it has its characteristic to be known as it is, not anything at all. And only right understanding can condition satipatthana to arise, to be aware with the understanding which has developed to that degree. So no doubt about the characteristic of sati when it is satipatthana. It shows up, it is aware of that object. So now there are so many objects, but no awareness of any reality, any object. But at moment of just being aware by condition, instantly the characteristic of satipatthana appears as it is, that it's there, being aware of one characteristic. To understand it better, not just theoretical understanding.
So the citta will be the object of satipatthana.
Is it real?
It's real.
Can it be satipatthana?
It can be.
At moment of being aware of that characteristic only as that which is achieved, no shape, no form, beginning to understand more and more. So it appears to understanding. But when it's not that degree, it's only the development of understanding little by little with direct awareness. And even direct awareness cannot be conditioned by expectation or attachment. Without understanding enough, there cannot be citta nupassana satipatthana. For example, now there is citta, but it can't be citta nupassana satipatthana yet.
Thank you, Achan.
One question that often comes up is that why citta is classified as citta sometimes, or vijnana. It's sometimes called vijnana, like in the Satipatthana Sutta, when it's talking about the ayatana, they mention vijnana rather than citta, whereas in the section on citta nupassana, they call it citta, but it's the same reality in that sense.
Depending on the object and depending on the characteristic and depending on function. Like Jakku Vijnana, it experienced the object through the idol. And the object has to be that which is seen only. And the chitta, which is Jakku Vinyana, say the word tell about its characteristic and its function. Vinyana, which experience that which appear through Jakku. Vinyana, experience directly of the object through one way.
Why not just call it Jakku Chitta, for example? Just no, I'm just trying to clarify more on this.
When it's Vinyana Kanda, it's any chitta then.
It's just
You can use any word
okay. Yeah.
when there
Just
is understanding, but there can be mixed
yes.
understanding, whether it is ayatana or whether it is that which experience directly of the object which is seen and so on.
Yes.
When we talk about chitta in general, we do not mean that particular one.
Those special ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the context. We're kind of running out of time. Greg, do you have any other topic or any other question you'd like to bring up?
Well, I had one other thing that I was going to bring up earlier, but I kind of feel like it was covered, but it had something to do with something that was said in an earlier talk, and that was letting go for what is taken as something. And then my question is, what does something mean? Is something, are we talking about concept? Are we talking about, ignorance? So I think that was something that I thought about prior to tonight, but I think some of that's been covered. But anyways.
So what is the question about it?
I think his
what
question is, when it's letting go of something, what does the something refer to?
Exactly.
When there's the idea of something, for example, now when seeing, actually we know it's just what is visible, the light that is seen, but instantly there's an idea of tablecloth or computer. It's something there.
Yes.
So as soon as there's the idea of something there, it's not the understanding of reality. It's the wrong understanding of utter. So utter doesn't just mean someone, it means something as well. Not I that sees and not a thing that is seen. So there can be thinking about the computer, there can be thinking about Hung, no misunderstanding. But as soon as there is the impression of something, not even in words, but something that is seen, something that is heard, then it is the utter ditthi, the wrong understanding instantly. So it shows how quickly it comes in. Does that make sense, Greg?
Yeah, it does. It was, I guess it was mostly for me related to, this sense of I and clinging that arises, from having that sort of false experience. It's so real and we're trained to believe it's real.
Can I make a brief comment, Greg?
Please.
I think when there's talk about the idea of, letting go of the idea of something, it's trying to compare and contrast the direct experiencing of a reality as it is with how we normally take the world to be. So before we heard the Dhamma, and even now after we've heard it, but we think we are seeing people and things. But when there's awareness of visible object as just visible object, then we appreciate that what we previously took to be the object of seeing is just a concept about the story about what has been seen. And so that moment of awareness and understanding conditions a little bit of letting go. of the world as being a world of people and things. So it's letting go the idea of people and things, something at that moment.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very clear. Thank you very much.
One last question, Ha.
Ajahn, Sarah. So by the way, we're talking about the I and the context. So I'd like to just clarify. Letting go the idea of I is very important. So I think that once, because there is an I, it is just in the context of having I and the others. So is there any way to, sorry, the way again, but really this is happening. To just let go in order to let go the I, we maybe not comparing I and the other, and because I think that in some other religion, for example, it is advised that people to in order to let go the idea of I, then immerse the I into a bigger I of the whole world, for example, the whole universe, I, as in yoga. So is that, there is any way or any other, beside the understanding is of course the ultimate way, but try to let go the idea of I by any other ways.
We can listen to any word to come back to understand the question about, is there a word?
Well, to the ultimate understanding, then it is only through the experience of the chitta that there is something.
Did Buddha say anything about the world?
No. Now there is just one thing at one time.
What is the world? When we think that there is a world.
Concept.
Without understanding.
What? Yeah.
No understanding of the meaning of the word. But Buddha enlightened the truth of the universe, just one reality at a time. So when we thought about the world, what does it mean?
It's a concept.
Did he say that it's a concept?
Yeah.
He talked about seeing now, arising and crumbling away, falling away. It's a world. What is seen now, the visible object, arises and falls away. It's a world. We can think about traveling all around the world, but the world is here and now, so very close.
So one thing at a moment, you mean?
The reality now,
Yeah.
the innermost reality, seeing is a world. What is seen is a world, here and now. The tree and the forest, the Vietnam, Hong Kong, these are all ideas. The world is the reality now. It arises and falls away, the true world.
Well, but the thing is that once the direct understanding is not arising, we are still have the compare.
But the world is the same, no matter whether there's any understanding or not, no matter whether we've ever heard the Buddha's teaching or not. The world right now, seeing now, hearing now, is still the true world. Thinking now.
Yeah.
the reality that arises and falls away, no matter whether there's ignorance or understanding, it's still the truth. The world that the Buddha taught about here and now. And only by understanding the world now can there ever be the development of understanding that leads to satipatthana, vipassana, jnana, enlightenment, and so on. It has to be the understanding of the world here and now. No other way at all.
Well, but I mean, we are not at the level of the understanding developed by as the Buddha. So we are still seeing the world as intellectual.
And that's why we keep looking for other worlds and other ways, because of not understanding the world here and now.
Yeah, everything is happening very quickly, and many things at the same time to us. What I mean is that really, we try to see it by the way that the Buddha sees it.
It appears to us, that's the story of I. It's not the understanding of the world. So the point of the discussion, the consideration, the reflection is just for the purpose of understanding the world now, just the Dhamma now, anatta, not we try, not anything happening to me. When it's we try and something happening to me and being bombarded, that is why there is doubt and confusion and looking for other ways.
One thing at the moment.
That's why there has to be that's why we keep hearing about citta, we keep hearing about different realities, to begin to reflect and consider and understand what is the world here and now.
Yeah.
Can I ask Hang a quick question, please?
Yes.
When you asked about any other way, Ha, were you referring to as taught by the Buddha, or do you mean outside the Buddha's teaching?
I mean, outside the Buddha's teaching.
Oh, so is there a way that he didn't know about, do you mean?
Before I'm to the Buddha's teaching, so well, it is like the accumulation, my own.
I think, yes, the goal that he taught, I think there's only one way to that goal, to that end. There are other teachings about the I that lead to other destinations.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it depends on what destination as to what path is followed.
Therefore, I'm very much concerned about the Indriya. So I think that maybe today the time is up. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more about the first Indriya, Asada, for example. Sada or Sadi?
Maybe Indriyas tomorrow.
Yes.
Big topic. Yes.
Yeah, I'm very much interested to hear about it.
Everyone will be happy to have you in the hot seat. Yes.
Is satta a word?
Well, for me now, it is a word, not a word, a word. I'd like to understand.
No, satta is only the word.
No, of course not. It is pointing to a
So the question
reality.
is whether satta is also a word. Whatever arises, forswear, that's the meaning of a word. Without that which arises, how can there be any word at all? That's why it can lead to understanding what is meant by lokutra. See?
Loka and Lokuttara. Yes. Lokuttara.
Just a comment. Do you know the Pali word Gana?
Gana?
It means like it's a compactness or mix, and because of there seems to be a whole body and everything happening, there's this idea of a self, but the Buddha's way is the way of the analyst, the Vibhajyavad, and the Abhidhamma breaks down what we think of as a whole into just components. And so that's another aspect of how to break down the idea of self. It's broken down by seeing it as just a moment.
Pointing to the truth.
Yeah, but the real way is satipatthana. That's the way. And this is all an aspect of satipatthana. Yeah.
What truth, depending on the truth one is talking about, will affect what is the way that is leading there. And last word to Carmen, because she's leaving. If you want to say anything before you go.
Yes, I'm leaving tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm really, really grateful. I already said it yesterday. First of all, to Ajahn, really, really, really grateful. And a lot to consider. And to, I don't know, I'll let the time do it. I don't know, it'll come and go and we will see. And thank you. And also thank you a lot to Sarah and for taking so good care. And all our chats also before and after the sessions. And I really appreciate also that. And also to everybody here. There was so, I don't know, for the people at home, they're so lovely and so caring and taking care of everything. And and to everybody basically. So I'm really, really grateful. I go home with a warm heart at least. Yeah.
See you again soon on Zoom anyway.
On Zoom, yes. Thank you.